All right, welcome back to the Career Coaches Podcast. Today is an exciting day because today we have a huge announcement. And before we kind of go into it, I kind of want to go into telling you guys why this is such a big deal in the first place. So one of the things that I've always talked about is how we need to normalize career coaching, how less than 20% of all job seekers use career coaches. Yet for every other major decision that we make in our lives, like buying a house, we use a real estate agent, planning for retirement, use a financial advisor, getting in shape, we use a personal trainer. We spend more time at work than we do in any of those other areas of our lives. And yet we don't, it's not normalized. There's like this level of stigma. Like people don't originally think, hey, I need help getting a job, and they go work with a career coach. And I think part of that is because of the inconsistency that people feel that they would get from a career coach. They say, hey, I've worked with someone, one could be really good. I work with another, one could be really bad. And they might feel like it's not worth that investment in making that and working with a career coach. And I have a personal goal, and like that's become kind of Opni's goal, that we want to normalize career coaching. But the reality is that the best way to normalize career coach is not helping career coaches make $10,000 a month, $80,000 a month, $100,000 a month. It's actually how do we improve the client success? How do we improve the delivery? How do we ensure that when career coaches work with job seekers, that they can get better results for their clients than if their clients were to go on this journey alone, right? So we see it, according to the US labor statistics, that it takes over 6 months to get a job in this market, right? And we see that career coaches are, on average, are helping their clients get a job between 3 to 4 months, 5 months, depending on the industry and in the level of experience that someone has. But there's a lot of inconsistency in there. And in this world of AI and tools, right, Google and AI, strategy alone is become a commodity, right? And I say that because if strategy alone was the reason that's holding us from us accomplishing our goals, we will all be rich and shape and fulfill. And the reality is that I have yet to meet someone that is yes on all those three boxes. And so when we break down, and after speaking with thousands of career coaches, we've understood that the biggest lever point that a career coach could use to grow their business, not in the marketing sense, but literally in the client success, which is actually the number one success marketing engine that you will even have for your business, is how do you get your clients better jobs faster? And the best way to do that, I think, is what we've been working on for the last 2 years. So this is an announcement of us sharing a project that we have been working on very hard for 2 years. This is not something that we launched 2 weeks ago, that we jumped on the AI bandwagon. This is something that we have been working on, refining, fine-tuning, using with dozens of coaches already, kind of like on a stealth mode. And we are now really ready to announce it to the world. And we're using this podcast to do that. So I want to introduce you to CoCareer and the two co-founders of CoCareer that have made this platform what it is today. And I'm super excited to dive into what the platform does. So if you are a career coach, you're going to want to listen to this podcast, because if you've never heard of this tool will change the way that you help your clients get better job faster. And I'll say this to you, just so you understand, our job with this tool is not to replace the career coach, because we know that AI won't replace the career coaches, but we do know that the career coaches that use AI will. And that's what this tool is to be your co-captain in this journey. So without further ado, welcome Sanket and Sadat, the co-founders of CoCareer AI. How are you guys doing today? You guys excited to finally open this up to the world?
Absolutely. Can't wait for it.
Do you guys synchronize? Yeah. Absolutely. It's like
that was the only thing we synchronized. We talked about it, but don't expect anything else.
Well, tell us a little bit more about why you guys wanted to create this tool. I would say you guys, and I'll let you guys maybe through this podcast share a little bit more of your background so that people understand kind of like why do you guys have the technical ability to build this amazing tool? But out of all the problems you guys could have used your brilliance in, why this particular problem of job searching and specifically career coaches?
Yeah, I mean, what Sadat and I like, we go all the way back to being on the same team at Adobe in San Francisco. and kind of learning the know-how of tech and like just kind of like, kind of like building our skill set in product and technology in general. Being in Silicon Valley, of course, helps because then you're always open to the markets that are about to get disrupted, and you just want to like stay at pace with some of these things. I think like like both Siddharth and I, like we've had like career transitions in the past from being more individual contributors, starting off as like software engineers, moving into more computer scientist roles, eventually getting into management and then entrepreneurship. We went through the brute force mechanism, like literally trying out everything that we could and eventually getting the result. We were lucky to get the result because we got lucky with the kind of people that we had around us, the ecosystem that we had around us. But then we always thought that there must have been like a far more efficient way, or more than one ways to kind of do some of these things. Even if you just want to grow in your own path right now, as software engineer, you want to go to a senior software engineer. Like even those things can be done more efficiently. And AI was just coming around the time GPT-2, GPT-3, and we felt this urge or the need that, hey, we could actually solve this problem for everybody else in the world who's looking for a better job. Like statistically, it says that 3 out of 5 people are actually unhappy in their current jobs. So we saw that there is a very big market opportunity out there. And another realization that we've had over the years of, living through the life ourselves and through, talking to other people, is that if people are unhappy in their work life, generally it bleeds over into their personal life as well. And so the idea was that how can we ensure that this work life is something that they truly enjoy, and try to like get closer to, as close to the Ikigai framework as possible, although like, the entire framework may not be like maybe too idealistic, but how far can we get there? And so that was the whole inception of where Shapeshifter came into play. But yeah, I'll let Siddharth add more to that.
No, absolutely. I think, as Sanket said, similar journey for me as well. I went from software engineering to engineering management, and I've helped a lot of people do career transitions from, again, the management positions or product management. I do know how important this is. As Sanket mentioned, this could make such a big impact in your life if you actually end up finding yourself in a position where you are visible. So yeah, when AI came around, both Sanket and I, we were kind of exploring different ideas, and this seemed like the idea that we both were very passionate about, and we thought we could use the skills that we honed over the years. In terms of our background, just like Sanket, I have almost 20 years of software engineering background, built several consumer products, and in the last 3-4 years, heavily spending time in the AI field, seeing how we can leverage that. And Co-Career is the outcome of that, I would say.
That's amazing, guys. Again, if you guys have watched this podcast before, you guys have probably seen them. We do a monthly show on AI. We've been kind of in a way secretly been working on this tool for a couple of years now. And so they are not only up to date on what's going on with the whole AI world, but specifically when it comes to the career coaching industry. Want to talk a little bit more about how do you guys see AI playing a role with career coaches, and how are you, when you guys are building the tool, how do you keep in mind what is the role of the coach and what is the role of AI?
Yeah. So the way that we were approaching Shapeshifter, which is now Co-Career, 2 years back, like more than 2 years back now, we initially started with thinking that, like we know how to build a product in tech. Let's go build the tool that can basically help all job seekers get from any point A to point B, And we built a great product, which, built a great design, kind of had this journey where we could take their, strengths and weaknesses, kind of identify certain careers for them, identify certain action plans for them, what are the right resources that they should kind of learn or upskill to kind of, get to those careers, and then eventually lead them to some jobs, that we could find that could be helpful for them. We had good traction. Users loved the tool because they hadn't seen something like this before, also because AI wasn't there before. And so which is why like it felt like it's all coming together now. But then as the users started using it, we started to realize that the end game was still unsolved. The end game for every job seeker was, at the end of the day, find a great job. It doesn't matter whether they are laid off, doesn't matter whether they are stuck in middle management, doesn't matter whether they are coming from, a big maternity break. It doesn't matter, right? If they're switching industries, in all these possibilities, the end game was how can they find a job for sure. And the tool, while it did all the shenanigans around helping them upskill, helping them personalize these assignments and auto grading and everything, we still couldn't guarantee that outcome. And and so the tool was good to have, it was great to use, but then it really didn't really solve the clear pain point that most people had, which is how can we find the job? And so we, like Siddharth and I, like we kept like thinking like, how do we like, keep getting, how do we improvise the product? How can we leverage AI better? And this is also keeping in mind that, the core technology was still AI, and like, AI continues to improve like with leaps and bounds. Every month we're seeing better models coming out there, but it wasn't a technology problem. It was something else. And the more time that we started to spend with talking to the job seekers, understanding their motivation, understanding who are now actually going to solve for these motivation besides, having it in the tool. And that's how we slowly started like trying to talk to different kinds of people. And then a segment of people that we really hit like kind of like a bullseye or like a eureka moment for us was when we actually spoke to career coaches, because we realized that career coaches are the ones that are guaranteeing that outcome. And so it almost felt like this was the missing piece in the entire puzzle that we were trying to build here. And yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, like it was almost like a eureka moment for us. And that's where, we started this journey of going deeper into understanding what role would career coaches play in this entire journey, and how can the tool play a great sidekick to the career coaches.
Yeah. And if I were to talk about the vision, is we have built this tool for career coaches. This is not for job seekers. It's not for anybody else. Every single thing that we added into the tool is specifically designed for career coaching workflows. We do have obviously a surface that is exposed to the job seekers so that we can keep accountability on both ways between coach and the job seeker. Whenever a job seeker takes an action, the career coach is fully aware of what's going on. But in terms of the workflow, the tool is specifically designed for career coaches. The way we look at it is that this is the career coach's companion, co-worker, co-pilot. Now that AI is enabling us to add a level of intelligence that we were not able to add in the past, this really is the vision, is that just making this a true co-pilot for the career coaches so that they can manage their clients, basically stay on top of all of the updates, whatever is going on with their clients, without spending hours on different scatter tools, talking to them or trying to get that information. That is kind of our vision here.
I know for me, what really got me excited too was like, hey, like I want to partner with you guys. I want to be able to be part of building this with you guys. Was kind of to the realization that the ultimate goal is better jobs faster. Someone that doesn't have a job, if somebody's making $100,000 and every month that goes by that they don't have a job, that's around $8,000, $8,333 that's not coming into their household. They can't pay their mortgage, their bills. That's going to affect their family. That's going to affect their confidence. And so it's always this speed to getting a job faster. And it's not just any job, a better job faster, because technically like somebody was like, hey, I need to get a job in 2 weeks. I'm like, if you go to Walmart or McDonald's and you want to work in retail, you can get it. So it's not just any job, but it's a better job faster. And as I think to like, I mean, I am just so obsessed with the career coaching environment and world. And I think about how do you get people better job faster? It goes into two main aspects. There is the capability or the strategy side, and then there is the motivation on like the way that somebody is willing to execute that strategy. Because again, like I mentioned before, strategy alone is not enough. And I think a lot of times what we find is that career coaches generally are very good at one or the other. They're either very good at like the mindset, maybe they're like a life coach or a mindset coach, or they're just very good at just persuading the job seeker to take the required actions to get the desired results, or they're just very good at like, let's say technical interviews or something that's very technical to help them get the job. But you do need both, right? You do need both. And what's really exciting to me is how this tool allows the coach to, one, the strategy, put in their stuff, like put in their brain inside of the tool so that it kind of like spits up the strategy side of it. And let's be honest, career coaches, 80% of what we teach our clients, they're all the same. Like as someone who's seen hundreds of career coaches programs, I like to call this the 80-10-10 rule. Is like 80% of career coaching is the same, right? You're going to teach them that they need a resume, LinkedIn, networking, interview prep, salary negotiation, and where to apply. But the last 20% is your secret sauce. And I always talk about breaking that down into two different aspects. 10% is the niche that you serve, and 10% is your background, your personal brand. And I think what the tool does really well is that we understand the 80%. Like Sadat, Sanket, the rest of the co-career team, we understand, like we've seen enough career coaching. And so we build the tool in a sense that like some of that 80% is already there that you can just plug in, play. But we don't want to make it to feel like every career coach is giving the same advice. So we allow you to add your 20% into it. So it looks like you, it feels like you, it's branded by you. One of the things that I love about co-career is that the tool is actually white labeled, right? Like it's like if a career coaches uses it, let's say Opni uses it, Opni will be all over. Like the client, your clients are seeing Opni, they're not seeing co-career. But what's really exciting is how this tool, one, allows you to track the execution, right? Know where your clients are applying, networking, and so on. And then secondly, the tool also allows you to be the main character, to be the coach, to get the credit for the success. Like when your client gets the job, they're not going to be like, oh, thanks, co-career. They're going to go, thank you, coach, for allowing you to do that. So I would love for you to hear that a little more about that. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, what I was exactly what you said. With co-career, what we are trying to do is just be in the background with our branding, with the intelligence, just to help you and make your career coaching program to be as visible and elegant as possible to the clients. One of the things that we hear from our coaches who have been using the tool and giving a lot of feedback to us is that when they go into their sales call and put this product in front of their clients, show it to them, it immediately kind of elevates the value that they're offering. Because as you said, co-career, our branding is not in front for the product. Everything that appears as if this is actually the career coaches tool, and it really, in a way, it is, because as you said, you can customize any aspect of the tool. You can add your prompts. You can customize the way we do things. So not only it actually looks the way of your program, it also does pretty much everything you want it to do with the customization layer that we added on top of it.
Yeah. And if you're watching this, if we haven't made it clear, the announcement is that we are launching to the public co-career. So it's official. You can go to cocareer.ai right now. We'll put a link on it so you can see it. And as our gift to you is that we want you to come and try this tool for free. Put up to 5 of your job seeker clients, try this tool for free for 30 days. And here's my challenge to you. If you have, let's say you're working with 10 clients right now, put 5 in the tool, 5 without the tool. And I guarantee you, the clients that use the tool are going to get a better job faster. They'll execute more. There'll be more transparency in what you're doing. And what we'll do is we'll spend the rest of the podcast kind of talking about what the tool does in more detail. But you can go do that right now. You can literally go in and use the tool for 30 days for 5 of your clients. Try it out, test it, and you will see how the clients that use it will get better jobs faster. Guys, I would love for us to dive into kind of what the tool does. So we kind of gave it a little bit of an overview, but if we dive into it, what does the tool do for the job seeker? What is it? How does it hook the job seeker to execute better? And then also then later on, maybe one of you guys can answer the job seeker and the other person can answer what does it do for the coach?
Go ahead, Sanket. I'll let you take that one.
Yeah. So I think, to take a step back, like from a coach point of view, I think, just to quickly summarize, there are 3 aspects that we are trying to make, like give to the coaches, right? So the number one is branding. So everything in the product is their brand, whether it is the custom domain, whether it is their logo, their color theme, everything, all the touch points, including the extension, the Slack bots, everything is theirs. There is absolutely no way that, you're like, we don't want to come in front of a job seeker. So the entire brand is yours. Like you are the owner of the tool, right? Number 2 is everything inside the tool is extremely flexible in terms of capabilities as well as the content. So you decide what your roadmap should look like specific to a certain job seeker, or it could be different for 3 different ICPs that you cater to. You can decide what kind of components or features should be available to certain clients. You want to hide them. Even within your team itself, you're able to control which VAs, which contractors, which resume writers should be assigned to who, which clients. So there's like a whole bunch of controls that you have as a coach. So that's 2. And number 3 is we've built something which really reflects your style inside every touch point that they have. So what I mean by that is while you have a program in place that you may be teaching, you may be strategizing with your job seekers, any other job tool in the market will probably not have the same connection, will not be in the same sync. And that's because those tools are primarily built with a lot of like generic information. But the way that we are trying to build CoCareer is that we want to make sure that what you teach in the program, what you strategize in the program is exactly what is reflected inside the product. So whether it is the cover letters, whether it is the resume generator, whether it is the Copilot, whether it is something else, all the features are going to speak the same way that you as a coach are, teaching, or all the frameworks that you've put together, all the templates. So with these three things, we're able to personalize the entire tool as a very organic extension of your own program as a career coach. So these are like the main things, like three pillars that we are trying to address. Now within these, there are like tons of features which we can get to shortly. But yeah, I'll let Siddharth share some of the job seeker capabilities as well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, as Sanket said, there are a lot of features that we can go over that, but I'm gonna talk about a couple important ones. Obviously, some features, known features such as Resume Optimizer. Your clients can optimize their resumes using the tool. Again, you as a coach can provide the prompt or how you want us to optimize the resume so that you can use your own touch. One of the most important components that I can talk about is our jobs component. The way we look at jobs is slightly different than what's out there. We know that the job search process can be extremely exhausting. So we try to simplify that for your clients as much as possible. And the way it works is that before you enable the jobs component, you and your clients basically enter all of the configurations for your client, what they want, where they want the job, what's their base salary requirements, what industries they are interested in, even just using a regular prompt to tell our engine what your client wants in just simple terms. Once you enable that, what CoCareer does is multiple times a day, it goes to every single platform, LinkedIn, Indeed, company websites, Glassdoor, Workday, and it finds all the compatible jobs for your clients and bring it into the platform. Not only bring it to your clients, it also analyzes it for your clients so that your clients doesn't have to go through every single job description to figure out whether they match the job or not. In addition to that, CoCareer sends notifications to your clients whenever there's a very compatible job. On top of that, it allows your clients to optimize their resumes per job, even go ahead and find networking contacts for the job. That is one of the things that we take it extremely serious. We know that the networking is the thing that really makes a big difference. It's a little hard for job seekers to execute, but we have a lot of features around networking where basically to make that as easy as possible, as painless as possible. That is to give shortcuts to LinkedIn to find people whom they can network with, even showing the people they can network with. That's one feature that we are very actively working on that's going to come live soon. Allowing them to write emails to these people, even finding the right emails for these contacts. That's another feature that's coming up. There's a lot more, Daniel. It's just the list is rich. Those are some of the things that I can touch on probably right now. But if you want me to talk, I can probably do it for another 30 minutes.
What would you say is the biggest benefits that the career coaches that are using it today are getting from using the tool?
I think number one has been just the sheer speed. The turnaround time, or the average time for the first interview call from almost like 2.5 months has come down to 2 to 3 weeks, which has been phenomenal for the coaches given the market that we're in right now. And I think it's like lesser credit to CoCareer, because at the end of the day, it is still the coach's strategy that they have put together. They have put together the right accountability principles in place. And what CoCareer has done is it's just made the overall accountability and execution much more seamless. So now, as soon as the clients are onboarded into the program, as soon as their resume is ready, the initial couple of weeks are done, they are good to go. Like, from the moment, like they are into the platform, it doesn't take them enough, like at all, like time at all to kind of learn the tool or anything. It is so intuitive for them to just like get going with all these different kinds of modules. And that basically helps them apply to, like hit their weekly targets, which the coaches may have set, which could be, let's say, 20 job applications and like 50 networking contacts and so on and so forth. I think that entire process of execution becomes extremely seamless for job seekers. And that's where it creates that momentum for them. And I think, Daniel, you might have like the gold nuggets there, but I think in this industry, I think momentum is like one of the biggest key factors that drives, you across the finish line. And I think that's what the tool is basically, providing as an additional support to what the coach already does.
Yeah, one of the tools that I was always really pushing for you guys to build, that I think you guys just did an amazing job on it, was how do we gamify that accountability, right? So
Yeah.
when I was doing career coaching for international students, right, we were onboarding 12 new clients a week, right, into our business, right? And one of the things that we noticed the most is that, like, to your point, is like once they get rejected a couple of times, their motivation goes down, and they just weren't executing to the same level. And that led to them actually creating this like a self-fulfilling prophecy of, I'm not going to be able to get a job. And if and I know you guys come from like the international student background. The problem with those students at an F1 visa is that they don't have the luxury of time like if you're an American resident or citizen. And so if they take 1 or 2 weeks off because there's some mental health or some motivation thing, that dramatically impacts their ability to get a job before their time expires. And so for me, I think it was that sense of urgency that really forced me to think, like, how do we hold them accountable in a way? And I think what the tool does really well is that it has this gamification aspect, that when the job seeker is using the tool and they apply for the job, it improves the execution score. Or when they do a networking, it improves the execution score. And so it's not only you as a coach that you have transparency to see where they're executing, where they're getting stuck, but also for the job seeker, it's like you can see that thing going up and up and up and up. And what I'm really excited off, I know that we're not there yet, but it's in the future where we can then come to a point where we can then predict what input is required to get the right output. And so in the future, we're going to be able to get you as a career coach. The job seeker will know I'm like 63% of the way there. That's going to motivate me to get more into it. Like today, I was like at the gym, right? And I'm doing the rower, and I have to do 1,000 meters, and I'm literally at like 333 meters, and in my head, I'm like, I'm 1/3 of the way there. I'm 1/3 of the way there. Right? And I think about how I gamify that in career coaching, and I think that's the tool, right? That's so awesome that we were able to do that. And what's really cool is that being a theory that we talked a lot about, implementing the tool, and then seeing career coaches literally use it, and then coming back and hearing from the career coaches saying, like, guys, like, it's dramatically increasing execution. And I think that's what's really awesome, because like this tool was part of it. Sometimes like we tested theories. Another part is career coaches' feedback that are telling us, hey guys, I would love to see this and this. And so I love to say, like, hey, this tool was made for career coaches, essentially by career coaches. And I think that's what's exciting, is that this tool is everything that I wish we had when we were doing international students. And now we're just seeing so much success for our clients that opt me to use this tool. They're just seeing it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And even in addition to speed, right? So speed is definitely the key. Like we're trying to get them, because they are in a phase where the sooner the better, they just need to get a job, a great job for that matter. But I think in addition to speed, the other thing that at CoCareer we're trying to address is ensuring a consistent quality. And this consistent quality could be across the applications, across the way that they're networking. Like there's this funny analogy that like one of the coaches gave back to us, like in one of those sales calls, is they were saying that networking is like, walking into the museum. And so in the beginning, you appreciate everything. You're like, you spend a lot of time in like, going through every painting, reading the footnote, and Googling about the artist a little bit more. But then you realize that there are like 5 more floors out there. And so then you just like, after like half an hour, you look for, a cafe and like, probably like grab a cookie and like probably start, kind of like getting too burned out by looking at the same, and everything feels the same after a point, like all paintings. So you lose the appreciation for that art, like, 30 minutes into the museum. And so the similar thing they said with networking, that in the beginning, people are so excited to kind of like create these amazing connection requests, send out like find out people and like send these, messages. And the moment like the first person starts ghosting them, the moment the connection requests are not getting accepted. The moment there is no inbound request coming at all, those are the things that then start demotivating, and that kind of starts affecting not just the psychological state, but even the output that they're actually putting. So the connection requests then become low quality. They are not going deeper into finding the people the right way anymore. They go off track, off strategy. And so those are things that Co-Career is again ensuring that the quality and consistency is top notch from the beginning till the end.
That's awesome. So, guys, before we wrap it up, any last thoughts you guys want to share with the audience? Maybe something that's exciting that you think that is coming in the tool, or one last value proposition of why you think a career coach that may be watching this should do the demo. I guess to me, there's no risk in the sense that it's free. Like, you might as well test it and see. But what do you guys think before we kind of wrap it up?
I think the main thing in terms of what's coming up is that the way we look at the platform is we are really building an intelligence layer on top of all the data that you have. We have only scratched the surface. So when you onboard your clients in Shapeshifter, when they start Co-Career, when they start using Co-Career, when we collect the data, now we have the data we can drive a lot of insights from. That is one of the things that we're working on next, which is you as a coach will land on the platform. We will immediately tell you what's going on with your clients, which client needs help, what do you need to know about where they are stuck. This is going to be a layer that you can interact with instead of just looking at different charts and things like that, which is what we have right now. So that next vision is what we're working on right now, just building an intelligence layer on top of it. Yeah, that's what I would say is another very exciting feature that we're building with very close relationship with the career coaches that are already using it. So,
yeah. And one more thing I can quickly add, Daniel, to this is that while, for some of our coaches that are listening, some of them have some technical backgrounds, some of them come from different background. Generally, as being part of the industry as well, we see it on the internet where a lot of these features have now, they have become more easy to kind of visualize, easy to build, but then the devil lies in the details. So sure, even the capabilities that mentioned, it is possible that sure, as a coach, you may be having, all the data maybe in your Monday CRM or maybe in some other spreadsheet, and you may be thinking of just putting it on Claude and maybe asking the same thing that, hey, tell me which of my clients need attention. But that's again, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The level of details that go into building these capabilities, bringing data from different sources, ensuring that the integrations are always up and live, ensuring that the capabilities that you're building are not just for you, but for your job seekers, ensuring uptime for all of these capabilities as AI continues to evolve, as these models continue to evolve. It's a lot of work. It's a full-time job. It's a full-time team that is required to kind of continue to execute on this. So unless that's your core competency and your primary focus, it just becomes so hard to actually deploy this at scale. And so that's one thing that, as we continue to build our roadmap, we always take into consideration how can we actually ensure that we're building capabilities so that coaches don't feel like, oh, maybe I should build this on the side for any odd reason, for that.
Yeah, scalability is a very important factor here, Daniel. I'm just going to touch on. So if you also are a large organization with multiple career coaches that are working as part of your program, we do have a lot of features around collaboration. And as Sanket said, this is not something you can enable with cloud or anything like that. All of the integration points that we provide, not only they're basically extremely hard to build, but again, if you're a large organization of a lot of career coaches, the collaboration features, making sure that your program runs as well across career coaches is something that Co-Career does extremely well as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys brought that point up, because it's to me, when I talk to coaches, they're one of 5 levels in the AI spectrum, and we've talked about it in different podcasts. In one level, they are like, hey, I use ChatGPT and that is it, right? And then on the other level, they are coaches that are like, well, why don't I just build this myself? I know how to code already, or I have access to that, or and I build it myself. And I think that one of the things that I learned from you guys is sure, I think now more than ever, it's been easier for maybe a non-technical person to build a tool or some of these features. I think you could build some of the individual features that Co-Career has. I think it's how those all features are connected within an ecosystem that does separate Co-Career and anything that you could build on your own. And I think if something that you said to that before is also the scalability of it. It's like building it is not the hard part. It's maintaining it that becomes really hard. And I think that's one thing I would say to you, that this tool was built whether you are someone who doesn't use AI or uses ChatGPT. This is very easy tool to use. So it's not a hard learning curve. Or on the other spectrum, if you are a super geek about all this stuff and you love all this stuff, I think you're going to love and probably even get more out of the tool. And we want you in that platform too. And if there's a particular thing, I think this is what makes this also very different. If there's because we want to, if you're a career coach, we want to hear your feedback. Like, yes, we have an idea of a roadmap of what we want to build in the next couple of months and so on. But if we start seeing that, like, it's a common trend that a lot of the coaches are asking for a particular feature, we don't have a problem. We put our ego to the side and put that into the front of it, because again, we are building for the career coach, right? Our goal is simply, will this tool or this feature help the career coaches help their clients get better jobs faster? So with all that being said, gentlemen, thank you guys so much for allowing me to be part of this amazing project, letting me part of and listening to my crazy ideas and some of them coming to light. I know that, like, this has been such an awesome collaboration. Also, if you're watching this, we will put a link. You can go to cocareer.ai. You can find us there. You can get access to the deal, that like the free 5 people 30-day demo, essentially. Try it, test it out. All of that will be, it's on our website. We'll put it on the links here as well. And also be on the lookout on my socials as well. We're going to be posting a long format video diving into the tool itself. We didn't want to do it on the podcast because we know a lot of the listeners that watch this replay on Spotify and Apple Podcasts don't see the video. So we didn't want to do a whole demo here, but there is, we're going to put out the video today or tomorrow on the tool itself and how it looks. And also, again, all I can say is try it. 5 clients, 30 days for free. I think you will see the difference and you're going to want to continue using the tool moving forward. So, gentlemen, thank you so much if you're watching this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Bye, everyone.